Hey everyone, Willie Clark here. Welcome to episode 13 of the Not So Silent podcast. As always, my two lovely companions, Dillon and Ryane. Say hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, yo. We're all. But yeah, so a little house cleaning first. This is going to be up a little later than normal, and later especially than we normally like to get it up. I had a minor medical snafu over the past 4 or 5 days.
You lost his arm in a boating accident.
Yeah, I lost my arm in a boating accident, and then I had to try to go back in time to start my arm from getting cut off. But then because I went back in time to stop it from getting cut off, I
actually caused it to
happen. I blew up the universe essentially. But no, everything's okay. I'm all fine. It just ended
You found his arm.
Yeah, I found my arm. It just ended up being a stressful and way busier than the already busy past few days were supposed to be. So we had to delay things a little bit, but we're back and we're here and healthy and alive and not drowning under lakes with nuclear reactors. So better than some people we know. But before we talk about this episode, we do have a few little Doctor Who news items that have happened over the past week. We just wanted to touch on. So.
Yes, and this was breaking news when we were intending to air the podcast, but it's kind of a little stale now, but I still feel like...
Pretend it's still breaking, so just pretend you haven't...
Yeah, so breaking news.
You haven't heard this before anywhere else.
Yeah, no, this is straight off, hot off the press, if that's even a thing anymore, hot off the keyboard. There's going to be a new spin-off series called Class, airing on the BBC Three, and this is actually centered around the whole Coal Hill High School, and it's sort of aimed at a lower age group, but again, it's the same channel that showed Torchwood. So go figure that.
How many fucking BBCs do they have?
They have 5,000. I don't know. They just keep making them. The BBC Three in about 3 years is going to stop being aired on television and is going to go straight to the internet. So that's something interesting for this show's lifespan.
It just makes me think of ESPN 8, the Ocho. That.
The Ocho. But it's going to be written by Patrick Ness. So that's going to be fun. He actually is a little bit darker, so it should be interesting. He wants to take it in a little darker turn. Even bigger news for nerdier people. There's a new Big Finish audios starring the War Doctor, and it's going through the whole Time War. And the big kicker is it's actually going to be voiced by John Hurt, who was the War Doctor in the Day of the Doctor. So
is this an audio play? What exactly?
Think of it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of. And
is it canon? Is this
No, not really. They have a whole iDavro series and all. It's tremendous and it's fantastic. And canon is really not something that really works. Everyone has their own kind of headcanon at this point.
Yeah.
But and the last little piece of news is they officially released a new Doctor Who Lego set.
Woo-hoo.
So there's that.
Yeah, which is
awesome.
really cool. And Doctor Who's actually in Lego Dimensions too, which I don't know if you've seen that or not, Jinxie.
I have not.
But Lego Dimensions, it's a Toys to Life game like Skylanders, Disney Infinity, except it's with Legos. And there's a Doctor Who expansion pack for that. I haven't gotten to play it yet.
It's Tennant, right?
No. Well, okay, so it's Tennant, but it's all of them. So I think the actual Lego minifig is Tennant. It's not Tennant in the TARDIS Lego set that came out. But I'm pretty sure it's Tennant in Rose and Lego Dimensions. But the cool thing is that when you die in the Lego game, you regenerate and you go through all the regenerations. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that is cool.
And I'm pretty sure actually the TARDIS changes. The interior of the TARDIS in the game changes to match each of the Doctors too. So it cycles through all of them. Each time you die, it regenerates and then goes back to the beginning to one and goes all the way through. So yeah.
You've redecorated. I don't
yeah,
like it.
yeah, exactly. So I think people seemed pretty excited about that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's a lot of news for 1 week.
Yeah, no, it was a big news week. It was pretty fantastic.
Cool. So okay, now I don't have a segue prepared, so now we're gonna talk about the episode, which was Deep Water. And
no, it's not.
What?
That's Deep Breath. Are you thinking of that?
Maybe. But
it's or unless I'm mistaken, but Under the Lake.
Oh yeah, that sounds
was the
right.
episode.
That sounds right.
It was written by Toby Whithouse, who is also the same author as like The God Complex and Torchwood, Town Called Mercy. He's got a laundry list of.
I liked my
names.
episode title better.
Yeah,
but I guess the official title's fine. But yeah, just a quick reminder: this will all spoilers for Doctor Who are fair game. If you have not watched the episode, we won't take it personally. If you pause us, watch it, and come back. You're more than welcome to do both at the same time, I guess, if that's your thing.
That would probably be weird.
But yeah, that might be kind of weird. But that works too. Whatever.
We could do that sometimes. Just watch the episode together and like podcast.
Let's play for TV. Let's
None
watch.
of us have cable.
Let's watch. Yeah, we could do Let's Watch.
Twitch TV.
Oh, are you advocacy? Yeah, well, I'm just gonna stop talking.
You're having problems with words today, Jinx.
I'm exhausted.
This is what happens.
I'm gonna go to sleep after this.
This is what happens when we wait till later in the week to do it. Jinx he's now watched the episode 27 times.
Yeah, probably.
He hasn't slept.
He just keeps watching
the episode.
He
Keeps watching
over
it over and over to see if there's anything he missed. So.
Actually, there's a really cool portrait on the wall that I didn't catch the 50th time I watched it. The 51st time I caught it, I'm like, ooh, that's cool. It's like a kraken.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say, the 15th time I watched this episode, I was like, but then the 16th, I was like, okay, but then the 17th, I was like, again. It's just...
Bro, you're just not PC enough.
Ooh, nice. I like crossover references. That's hip.
South Park, yay.
Take
a shot.
Yeah,
okay.
That's why I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What did people think about this episode?
I enjoyed it. Which I'm sure means Willie didn't.
Jinxie, what did you think about this episode?
I really liked it. I thought it was...
So Willie definitely doesn't.
Yeah, no, I can understand why Willie doesn't like it, and I kind of figured like, ooh, Willie doesn't like this part, and Willie doesn't like
I was
this
going to
part.
say, that was funny. One episode, I don't want to do it for this episode, but one episode we should not give our own opinions and then give what we think the other person's opinion is and see how close we are.
Yeah, I'll do Willie next time. I don't like it.
I think
no. So okay, so this episode felt very, very familiar to I think several other episodes of Doctor Who has done before, which isn't by itself necessarily a bad thing. I think the thing that I liked least about the episode was that it was very, 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 very formulaic. And essentially everything that happened was so set that I knew it. As soon as they said that the captain was deaf, I was like, oh, the ghosts are she's gonna be the one to read the ghost lips because they've been setting that up in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And
that was very obvious.
That was very obvious, and even the doctor floating underwater was fairly. I think you called that one actually. I think that was you, not me. But yeah, so I just felt like they were trying to go for these.
Oh, Dr. Ghost.
Yeah, Dr. Ghost. I feel like they were aiming high with what they were trying to do, and from that aspect, I feel like they did not reach the normal. Because Doctor Who can be a very, very clever show at times. I feel like this was not Doctor Who at its cleverest.
Honestly, though, I agree to some point. This was a very it's reminded me a lot of old Who. It's very old, formulaic survival style, and I think they pulled it off. I also think that this is the first normal Who episode that we've had in a very long time.
Mm.
It's
yeah.
you had the two-parter opener, which was all this timey-wimey stuff. Then you had the Christmas special. Then you had the two-parter end of the series, and it's been all this bombastic, crazy-ass Moffat going through time. And now we finally have them just, like, sitting on a base.
Stuck
and
in
like,
a place.
wow, this seems,
Fight-a-thing.
yeah, this seems boring.
Well, but so it's interesting that you say that, because if this episode wasn't a two-parter, I think you'd be right. But now he's going back in time, so now
it's getting timey-wimey.
Now it is getting timey-wimey, and
right.
And it's weird. I mean, well, obviously, we haven't seen the second half yet, so we'll have to see how it plays out. But most episodes, I feel like that option is always there. Well, why doesn't the Doctor just go back in time and fix everything? And he normally doesn't, because it fucks stuff up. So I did think it was interesting that that's actually the answer this episode. The answer is, well, shit, I guess the Doctor's just going to have to go back in time and, like...
But he's not going back in time to change things. He's going back in time to understand what's going on. I think that's the key difference. He didn't go back there with the intention of changing stuff. I think so. I mean, I've watched it 52 times. You've only watched it 15.
That's true. I mean, yeah. I
may be
think
mistaken.
he was going back to try to figure out what they were. I think was ultimately the thing. And it's interesting because this is, and Jinxie, I'm tossing this one to you. Doctor Who's never done ghosts before, right?
Ghosts are always not ghosts. Like they had there was a Victorian episode where there were ghosts, like kind of like the dead was rising in ghost form.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the Cyberman one? Is that the ghost shift and all that, or is that something?
No, I don't mean the Cyberman one. I think I mean the Shakespeare one.
The one where they're taking pictures? Oh, the Shakespeare one, yes. Or that was the Charles Dickens one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They were like gas. Yeah, they were gaseous
There's
beings.
The gassy ghost.
Yeah. But they've never done ghosts and had it end up being ghosts. I think.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair statement, especially with the way Capaldi's Doctor's like, oh, they're ghosts, and it seemed like it was new. So kind of like 11 was like, oh, I've got a gang now, gang's new, sort of thing.
But yeah, so because of that, I'm actually curious if they will end up being ghosts.
They're not.
I don't, and actually,
they're definitely not,
because all the things that he in that one speech, he was like, oh, like they could be this, or this, and I couldn't tell if he was listing things he'd run into before, or if he was listing answers as to what they could possibly be.
I don't feel like Toby Whithouse is that formulaic.
Okay.
He's written a lot of good stuff, but I don't think that's he's far more skilled than that. Not to say it can't.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of The Water of Mars, actually. Just the episode as a whole. Like, they're stuck somewhere remote that you can't easily be rescued. There's things trying to get to them, trying to get into rooms that are sometimes caught out of rooms, stuff like that. Like, it was, even the base, like, when they showed the whole base, looked like the base on Water of Mars.
Yeah. I mean, even with the predictability, like with the reactor, like they kept talking about how it was a nuclear base, and that was kind of, like, I don't know. I feel like the premise itself is slightly silly, and I'm not quite sure if they did pull that off, because they're like, it's a top secret underwater base that's also a nuclear reactor that's also haunted by ghosts, and like even the Doctor commented that was like, this shit's kind of ridiculous. But it actually reminded me of the first episode of Doctor Who I ever saw, actually, which was the one with Clara and the Doctor running around the TARDIS, where time got like all screwed up. But it actually reminds me of that episode, just because there's a lot of the interior corridor shots, and they're kind of running from something that they don't quite know what it is. And I mean, those things were kind of ghosts. I mean, they weren't ghosts, but they were ghost-like, and that they were, their past versions of themselves or future dead versions of them.
Future Dead version.
I think it was Future Dead.
Future Past Dead.
Future Past Present Participle. I think that's
present participle.
I think that's what it was.
Past tense, present participle version.
Yeah. So. But that's actually what it kind of reminded me of too, because there was a lot of the interior shots, a lot of running around. Super excited to see a Fahrenheit cage. That made me happy.
You said Fahrenheit cage?
Fahrenheit.
I thought it was Faraday.
It is Faraday.
Oh, it's Faraday. Ah, damn it! I always pronounce it wrong.
He always gets it wrong.
Oh my goodness. I thought it was.
Named after Michael Faraday. Fun fact of the day.
He created one.
I built one in college. Jinxie knows that. I'm sure Jinxie remembers the one I built for
to block his Wi-Fi signal from being detected,
so it wouldn't leave the room.
Oh my Lanta.
But it also kept the ghosts out, which was
from your router.
Yeah, which was.
Oh, can we talk about the Faraday cage for a second?
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, let's talk about.
So it kind of bugged me a little bit, and I've had cannoned it away for the most part, but I like how the ghost got trapped in there. That was really kind of brilliant to have the radio signals not escape. What bugged me was that the doctor got to walk in there, and his sonic sunglasses still worked. I mean, that just kind of bugged me a little bit. I'm like, I don't know if I like that. That's a little.
That doesn't bother me, because it's when he opens the door, it's like not sealed, so he can walk in fine. And then once he's in, like if he was outside and sonicking towards the inside, then that shouldn't work. Or if he's inside trying to sonic outside, that shouldn't work. But within the same room, it should be fine.
No, I know. It was more like sound isn't inhibited by a Faraday cage. It was just like one of those things like, they're trapped, but I can get out, and it wasn't. I don't know. It was.
I mean, I think
maybe I'm just being picky.
I think the sonic sunglasses are still kind of foofy to begin with. So
foofy?
Yeah, they're foofy. They have foof-like qualities. Yeah, they're foofy. Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, there was something about the cage that bothered me now, and I'm trying to remember what it was.
The glass panel on the front, so you can just go through that.
Oh no, but there was something. I'm not gonna remember exactly what it was, but there was something that like either the ghost could go through. Maybe it was the glass. I don't remember. But yeah, I feel like that whole premise wasn't exactly super airtight, or super ghost proof.
I feel like it's forgivable though, because it was a really cool concept, and kind of it is sci-fi, so like actually injecting really cool science into the story was
yeah. That is true. Yeah, I don't know what else we got.
I can go off on a whole bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, pick something. What do you got, Jinxie?
All right, so let's go to character building. I feel like we haven't talked about that a lot. Because last season we were talking about Clara, and now it was like her season to actually develop as a character, and the Doctor was developing because he was new. What do you guys think of Clara's character currently, and like the path that she's progressing towards as she travels more and more with the Doctor?
Or just wanting adventure all the time. I think that seems natural to me, because Rose kind of did that too. That, like, she kind of just grew to expect exciting things, and if things weren't exciting enough, she was never as straightforward as, like, let's go find something better to do. But, Rose definitely had that, like, sense of excitement. Like, okay, like, let's go, like, almost die again. This is fun.
I'm not sure if I've ever liked Clara more than this season, actually. I've never hated her as much as some people have, but I've never had a strong affinity for her. But she's kind of been, like, overnight become really badass, which I think is pretty cool. It is an interesting, I don't know, the whole, like, her becoming the Doctor type thing. That was such an odd scene for me, because I felt like, I don't know, it felt really, really forced. Like, I think there's a lot of steps between Clara's thirst for adventure and becoming the Doctor. I also...
You're talking about, like, last season?
No, in this episode, there was the scene where the Doctor was like, you're staying in the TARDIS, like, don't go out the door, like, you're getting, like, addicted to adventure, like, don't become...
There's only room enough for two, or for one Doctor.
For one Doctor. Like, so I think, to me, that whole scene, it just felt like one of those scenes that they're setting something up, but that they weren't necessarily setting it up organically. They were just kind of like, this is what we want to develop, so we're going to put this scene here. Also, at the beginning of the episode, this episode committed my number one biggest pet peeve Doctor Who sin, which is they talk about a cooler adventure than the adventure they're actually on, which the show does all the time. It does it all the time, and it drives me...
If it makes you annoyed, I like it.
It drives me crazy. Especially,
he's always like, I want to see that episode.
Yeah, especially when an episode's like, whoa, remember when we just came from the land of shiny gold coins and naked boobies? Like, wasn't that a fun adventure? And Clara was
that actually sounds really lame.
No, that sounds awesome. And then Clara was like, yeah, that was super fun. Now let's go to this other adventure that's totally filmable and fits within the budget of Doctor Who.
I did feel like that scene was a little bit forced.
Yeah,
but not too forced, and I felt like the entire episode was leading up to it in a way. You could kind of tell just the way that her attitude at the beginning was, like, she was extremely nonchalant about that, and she when she kind of like ran into there, like she like mentions like, oh, I'm fine in case any of you were worried, or like she's like, don't leave me hanging. Yeah, like, this is awesome. People are dying, and it's just, or it's like spooky. And
she's definitely gotten reckless. She's definitely gotten reckless, and I have a feeling they're setting that up as her flaw.
Well, it's going to kill her.
Well, that. Yes, she's going to die, and it's going to be because she's going to become the Doctor, act like the Doctor, and be the Doctor, and then she's going to die, and she's not going to be able to regenerate. So ultimately, we see, like, you can't become the Doctor. You can only become him for so long, because he's always regenerating too. He's always fucking up and dying. But he's a cat, so he gets a couple more lives.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't know how many more lives he's got now. They've kind of
willed that away.
Yeah, wiggled their way out of that one, I guess.
But I actually really like the undertone of it, and I feel like it's the start of this season. Primarily because I still don't think she's like over what happened to Danny.
No.
And even when the Doctor was like mentioning like, oh, you need to be in a relationship, I think she's still really like suffering from that, and she just doesn't give a shit anymore.
That's what I think it is. I think, and if I'm holding to memory everything that happened last season, right, she was starting to get really reckless until she met Danny, and that kind of withdrew her back a little bit because she had something to live for, or someone to live for. And I feel like now that Danny's gone, you know, a character or a companion can go one of two ways after suffering a horrible loss like that. They can either react and say, I don't want to travel with the Doctor anymore, like, look at the damage it's caused me, or you can kind of go full throttle and say, fuck it, like, I don't care, like, this is awesome, and, like, it doesn't matter what's kind of caught up in this whirlwind, like, I'm just going to go. And that kind of, to me, is the path that Clara's on right now. And I do think that, yeah, they're setting it up as, like, ultimately this reckless abandon is going to be what kills her. I don't know. That whole scene I didn't think fit very well in the whole scheme of this episode. But I have a feeling, looking back at it after we've seen the whole season, it'll make sense. But that isn't necessarily how something should organically be. Like, it should make sense going forward, not just looking back. But maybe this was a different time. Like, maybe this was a different time warp, and this is really the beginning of when he meets Clara, and we just don't know it yet. Dum dum dum.
I just can't wait for them to somehow bring Danny and Clara back together.
I hope
Pretty
they don't.
sure that's gonna happen.
I hope they don't bring Danny back.
Well, they've been doing this a lot. Just in these series, it's like death doesn't seem to be well, not necessarily death doesn't seem to be death, but like these ghosts
don't
and like
stay dead.
bringing things back from the dead, and
starting with Missy.
It's gonna end up, yeah.
Surprise.
Banana.
What about bananas?
I don't know. She always says, like, I'm banana.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah,
Not
I mean,
as
she is.
stupidly as that.
She's batshit. She's absolutely batshit.
Yeah, but it was also cool.
She's batshit in the best way.
Yes, in the best way. But another theme I've sort of noticed is they seem to be playing with a lot of perception throughout these last couple of episodes, and I don't know, with like Claire and the Dalek and like,
never mind. You mean tricks?
Yeah.
Like deception.
Yeah.
Deceptive tricks.
Like, yes.
Yeah, they did use a hologram in this episode.
Yeah, and that whole, I don't know. I thought that was a weird, like that whole chase thing, the whole like let's catch a ghost, was kind of weird. It was almost.
I thought it was cool.
Right now, I want to say it was almost like Scooby-Doo like.
I've been holding off on saying it, but.
I mean,
only because we got literal Scooby-Doo in A Love of Monsters, or like Love and Monsters and something like that, where they were like running back and forth. It was the one where they had the weird ass little piece of stone that apparently made love to the one narrator. Do you remember that?
What?
The Absorbaloff?
The what?
The Absorbaloff, that like green thing that was absorbing people. And they were like running around. It wasn't actually a doctor episode. It was like this guy narrating, like podcasting or streaming his like story of running around and meeting the doctor. And they had the group. You guys don't remember that, do you?
The globby thing that ended up in cement.
Yes.
The
girl's face. How she was like in the block.
Moaning Myrtle in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Moaning Myrtle.
There you go.
Blowjob.
You just gotta frame it.
Anyway.
You just gotta
always
Potter.
tell it in Harry Potter terms. And then,
okay.
then
I
I'll
can do
understand.
that. Expelliarmus Patronus.
What?
Gonna give her an aneurysm over here.
Just settle down. You said that word too many times today.
That's twice.
That's too many.
Uh-oh.
Twice.
Are we about to hear a slap coming on? I'm glad I am a Costa party. This could be heated otherwise.
But yeah, it was kind of goofy. Like, let's just have the ghost chase us around. Did they ever explain why they could only pick up certain types of weapons? I don't think they did, but I'm not sure if I missed that or not.
Probably because it's like electromagnetic radio waves sort of deal. Like they were saying it was magnets in the spacecraft, so they were going along that metals. Well, ferrous metals are magnetic. Sometimes non-ferrous metals are, but to a lesser extent, depending on what. Because less ferrous never. Sorry, I deal with aerospace parts. Anyway.
With what?
I lost my train of thought because I started going to the intricacies of metallurgical properties of ferrous and non-ferrous and their magnetic.
Yeah. Properties. Yeah, it was only metal weapons they could lift, right?
Yeah, because they're magnets. There we go. They can only lift metal because they're electromagnetic waves.
But didn't one of those things have like a wooden handle?
Yeah, I'm going with no.
They
I'm
think
say
of
with
an
the metal
axe,
one.
but it can have a metal or wood.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just painted yellow for safety reasons.
Okay. If that's what helps you sleep at night.
Yeah, I'm actually my guess right now for what they are is some sort of holographic-ish projection. Like somebody has figured out how to do like a magnetic hologram or something, and that the people are actually being kept somewhere else, and we're just seeing projections going off of your like sensory deception right now. That's my guess. If they are.
I thought that, but it's just weird. I feel like they'd have to like siphon their particles somewhere, kind of like in Silent Library, because is that the name of the title? The Bastion Errata one, where they like uploaded River Song into the database because we saw the one guy get incinerated.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But maybe he was just transported. We've
seen
a lot of
that. To the Nethersphere?
No, I actually, I think
True though.
I don't think the reveal of what these things are is going to be that different than how the doctors explained them already. I think that they're like echoes. That they're the kind of the closest thing to ghosts that could exist in this universe.
But we saw the doctor. And the doctor's not going to have an echo.
I mean, I
think they're prisoners somewhere.
No, I think
yeah, they're prisoners in that little capsule. That's where they are. They're all stuffed in there.
Maybe. No, I think the doctor's...
It's going to be bigger on the inside.
I think the doctor's just a mislead. Like, I don't think that's... Like, I think that's just a cliffhanger mislead, and I don't think... I mean, obviously the doctor's not actually dead.
They're going to have to explain it, though.
Yeah. Wub. Explain.
That's the cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's explained. But yeah, no, I think... And I don't really like that explanation, which I think is the reason why I think it's ultimately going to be the one that sticks. I think I think a lot in there, because the doctor kind of explained it as the words were, like an earworm that is echoing through somehow even after they die. I'm just gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if that's the only actual explanation for the ghost we end up getting.
I'm sure, but it'll be interesting to see why there's a Tivolian in Victorian England.
Yeah, so remind us
in Scotland.
Remind us what those things are for people who may not
have had our earlier conversation.
Yeah.
So the one thing that has the mutton chops of doom isn't actually human. In case anyone missed it, because it seemed like a couple people did on the forums.
The what?
He's a Tivolian? I don't know, but he's a Tivolian from Tivoli.
He had mutton. Yeah, he had mutton chops.
One of the ghosty things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you not?
I don't know.
Did we watch the same episode? No.
Yeah, I mean, there was clearly a ghost who had mutton chops.
I mean, I know which one you must be talking about, but mutton chops of doom seemed extreme.
I don't
know.
They
are, but they're extreme mutton chops.
Maybe I just see a lot of pictures of Charles Darwin. He has some pretty bad mutton chops.
You also live in California, so
that's true.
There's a lot more hipster mutton chops down there. Anyway, what was I gonna say? And what's interesting is that we first saw them in the God Complex, which Toby Whithouse also wrote. So I think this is like his little baby alien race.
He's bringing them back. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm only going to write episodes about my aliens. Fuck you, Doctor Who universe. I wonder...
It's been a while.
I was going to say, I wonder if that's kind of like an unwritten rule for writing an episode, is that like whoever came up with the monster is the only one that's allowed to, write them.
I wonder how the
writers work.
With obvious exceptions.
The writers actually might retain rights to the scripts or some of the creative ideas in them.
That to me seems more dubious, but it might be more of a that's that writer's creature, we're not going to touch it. Or maybe there are just some things Moffat likes doing over and over again, which is also probably quite close to the mark.
You guys might hear some meowing soon. Sorry.
My what?
I have a cat that's attacking.
Oh.
No.
Our two have actually been relatively well behaved during this. They're normally quiet and sleeping until we hit record, and then they decide it's time to run around and
knock everything over.
Yeah, knock everything over.
Yeah. Well, this one isn't mine. This one's my brother's.
Oh, you've been stealing and abducting cats again?
Yeah, no, I think it got trapped down here.
Oh,
so anyway, sorry for the derailing.
Okay. But yeah,
cats are the best kind of side topic.
No, they're not.
Is the doctor a cat? Is the doctor a cat or a dog person? Do we know?
I think it would depend on the incarnation.
Jinxie, I feel like you were going to say something.
I was. It's Claire's kind of like a puppy, right? That's what the master said. So
Claire.
I feel like he's a human type.
Actually, yeah, that's true.
His pets are human.
His pets are human. Yeah, and actually, Jinxie, I'm going to kind of jump back to something you said a little bit ago when we were talking about like Clara becoming the doctor. They actually did start seeding that last season, because that was an idea they played with a lot last season.
Oh yeah.
Was
you really clung on to that idea?
Yeah, was Dr. Clara, which I think is really interesting that they're now continuing that. Yeah, I kind of forgotten about that whole thing.
Yeah, in Flatline, they literally had her be the doctor.
Yeah,
that was a very strong theme.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, now...
I guess, for me, that's why I didn't really see Clara stepping into the doctor's shoes this episode as much, because they, like, hit us over the head with it in last season. That him being like, you're being too reckless, I'm the TARDIS, wasn't to me like, you're being too much like me. Nearly as much as, like, as last season was.
Well, I think that's also because we don't have the sort of the conflict of having Danny to go back to, and like we were having that juxtaposition of normal life versus doctor life. So there was really a central theme. Now it's just doctor life, so she has absolutely no balance or no checks in place. So she's pretty much become the doctor now. She's running around traveling.
Don't you have a boyfriend you can go hang out with?
Do I? Or just Claire?
No, that's what. Yeah, he has. That's what he asked. That's what he asked Clara. But yeah, and I mean, he even has more. I don't know. Actually, I'm not. Sorry.
I'm just gonna say preemptively, if the doctor came pick me up and was like, "Don't you have a boyfriend to come hang out with?" I would be like, "Nope, sorry."
Oh no! Wait. Let's just back up. Let's back up one second here, because that's exactly what Amy did, and that's one of your main complaints of Amy. Is that she did that. But Amy did exactly what every single girl who watches the show does. If Matt Smith or Tennant showed up out of your closet, you'd be like, panties drop, let's go.
No, not for Matt Smith.
Well,
pretty sure I'd be panties dropped for Capaldi, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, more likely Capaldi than Matt Smith.
It depends which doctor is your favorite. But everyone complained about Amy Pond doing that. But that's exactly...
Well, because she just immediately was... She wasn't like... She wasn't just like, oh my god, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, like, that person can wait. She was like, let me make out with your face right now. Like...
I'm just saying, you just...
Actually, Sorry.
Go ahead.
I wanted to derail a little bit more, since we're on the topic of different doctors. I read something today that finally put into perspective why I don't like Tennant as much as everyone else. And,
because you're wrong?
No, it's because he's not a Time Lord. He's human, and not literally speaking. He's a Time Lord, but he didn't feel alien to me. He felt just like a normal, regular human, which made sense because he was kind of absorbing Rose's qualities and emulating what she would want because they're in love and blah blah blah. But when Matt Smith came around, he felt alien again. He was doing weird stuff and wearing weird things, and Capaldi's kind of accentuating that more. And I just felt like that was something I could never put my hand on.
That's interesting. But yeah, that's actually interesting because I do feel
he is a very human doctor. Like he definitely suffers more than any of the others.
Well, yeah, and I mean, even Eccleston, I feel like was very alien too, and so I wonder if that was a conscious decision, to make a more human doctor, or if it more came of the evolution of, I mean, he did regenerate midway with Rose, so he's regenerating into something or someone that is more human and would like Rose more, or Rose would like more, or something like that.
Yeah. No,
wait, are you talking about the 10-2?
No, from Eccleston
to
Tennant.
Oh, you mean he was with her?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. He had met, he was with Rose already as Eccleston.
It's kind of the same concept we had with Matt Smith, where they almost explicitly stated in deep breath, who do you think that face was for? It's kind of the same thing. He kind of transformed into a very human version of himself to satisfy Rose's need for him to be human.
Yeah. And so now, do we want to extend that even further out and say that Clara needs him to be alien?
Maybe.
Also,
Getting super deep.
yeah, getting super deep. Also,
Meta.
one of the things that they still haven't addressed that I don't want people to forget about is Danny's descendant or whatever in the future that we meet. And
Orson Pink?
yeah,
or
Orson,
as you would say, Awesome Pink.
Yeah, Awesome Pink. And there was also, I remember reading a really, really good analysis about Clara being pregnant. And I haven't seen anything that hints at that yet this season. But if she is being pregnant, it could being pregnant, because that's a thing. If she is, well, hold on. I was gonna say, if she is pregnant, that could also explain why she's running around and doing all these things, because she may think
she knows she has a deadline.
She may think she has a deadline to get back to. And there was that one scene at the end, one of the episodes at the end of last season, where she had like the calendar or whatever all planned out and was going to tell Danny something, and then he died. And I think that's kind of the crux of the argument, that if Clara is pregnant or not.
Right, but I feel like enough time has passed within the universe that's not a thing.
Yeah,
at least she's not currently pregnant.
Maybe, but TARDIS magic has messed stuff up before. I mean, it was a long time. I mean, so I don't know if they're going to do that again, since they pulled that with Amy.
No.
TARDIS baby.
Yeah. So I don't know if they'll pull TARDIS baby again. But it's still food for thought, I think, nonetheless.
Well, I remember catching Strax's little jab at the beginning of Deep Breath, where he's just like, "Oh, it's going to be fluid retention later. It's going to be spectacular." You know, that was my.
Are those guys finally gone? I think they're finally gone, aren't they?
The Paternoster gang?
Yeah.
I think I said that right. I hope not. They're fun.
Yeah.
A little worn out, but.
Yeah, worn out. But
they were fun,
I feel like
so Willie hated them, of course. If you hear that noise, that's our cat.
Aha, mine are not the only ones.
No, definitely.
My cat is running around the apartment like a crazy person.
We need a cat-free podcast at this point. An intervention.
Maybe we should we can just like post a picture of the cats with our podcast and be like, see how cute they are?
This is why
we get off topic and there's random noises.
Yeah, and I mean, some of it, I don't know. We'll see in editing how much of it actually comes through. But it can be hard if they do something right while we're talking to completely cut it out. But yeah, I don't know. What else? Anyone else have any thoughts or anything like that?
I got a bunch, but I gotta take care of this cat.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
Remember 27 and 42.
It's just there's 5 people in the house, and he's meowing at me for some reason with my door closed. Because why not?
Of course he is. But
anyway,
so what else? Yeah, throw us another topic, Jinxie.
So on a less deep note, I'd like to talk about jokes.
Okay.
Because I like jokes, and jokes are fun. And Doctor Who has a ton of them. So some of the ones, I'll just list out a couple that I found funny, since I have a list, because I make lists. And I like the whole radio turned into a Clockwork Squirrel joke. That was kind of funny. The peanut allergy jab. And my favorite part was the flashcards.
Yeah, the flashcards were good.
Yeah.
That was a good. I am sorry for the loss of your friend, loved one, spouse, animal.
It actually, the exact words were, "I'm very sorry for your loss. I'll do all I can to solve the death of your friend, family member / pet." That was fantastic. I actually paused the video at all of the cards and wrote them down. Do you guys want to know what they were?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the first card was, I completely understand why it was difficult not to get captured. I'll let that sit for a little. The second one was, it was my fault. I should have known you didn't live in Aberdeen, which is actually a reference to, I think, Sarah Jane. He always got confused where she was from. The other one was, I didn't mean to imply that I don't care.
Yeah.
And then my favorite one was, No one is going to be eaten, vaporized, exterminated, upgraded, possessed, mortally wounded, turned to jelly. We'll all get out of this unharmed.
Yeah, that was.
And there's slashes. So it'd be like eaten / vaporized / exterminated / upgraded. That was good.
That was pretty good.
But
Yeah, that was a good moment.
I hope they come back. That was fantastic.
Claire playing the doctor's sense of empathy. I feel like we haven't gotten that in a while. It's her being like his moral compass or something. So that was
yeah,
nice.
But I think it was played nicely too because they have time for like him to be polite, or it's not just him like running around people getting shot like that. He actually had time to be more human. So I felt like it was a very fitting time. Like, doctor, let's practice this, sort of thing.
Yeah,
like it felt organic.
Of course, the cards.
Another fun. I don't know whether or not to consider this a joke.
Hold on, before you say that, you just made me notice something interesting, which was, I know we've been talking about how Clara is becoming a lot like this doctor, but it's still interesting to me that they're setting her up as such a parallel for him. But he's also learning a lot from her, and I'm wondering if the underlying point there is like the doctor can only learn from himself. So the only reason he's able to learn from Clara is because he sees himself in Clara. That's an interesting way to frame it, and I hadn't quite thought about it like that yet.
I would have resistance to that.
It's not perfect. Yeah, it's definitely not a perfect idea.
Especially with the Tennant-Rose relationship, but I think...
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying this doctor. I'm saying, like, this...
Okay.
Like post-Tennant, post-Smith, he's now decided that... Or he's now more resistant to change, I think. And he will only change if it's... I don't know, it's a weird juxtaposition, because I think the doctor both loves and hates himself.
I think he mostly hates himself.
I think he does too. So now I'm not. I don't know. Just a thought I had.
Yeah. No, that's good. But do you want me to say what I was going to?
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so I didn't know whether or not this was a joke, but it was also really cool. I also started writing down callbacks from previous episodes because I can't keep them straight anymore. And one of them was the psychic paper. And I thought it was really hilarious because he introduced himself as the doctor and like showed him the paper, and they're like, "You're from UNIT?" Oh, and like the girl actually knew him and like was happy to meet him.
Yeah, that was cool. I like when they do that, when people in the universe like know or like are embedded in Doctor Who lore. Yeah.
Yes, I haven't seen the psychic paper in a long time.
The Orient Express, I think, was the last time we've.
Well, didn't he lose it or something?
No, he gave it to Clara. Oh yeah, no, that's right. We saw it in Flatline too, in both of Jamie Matheson's episodes. But yeah, it was just funny to see it out him instantly because it didn't need to pretend. Cool. And we also heard the cloister bell, which was a nice little callback.
The what?
The cloister bell.
What?
You know that weird ass church bell thing that the TARDIS does when it's in danger?
Oh. Yes, the cloister bell. How silly!
Yes, of course.
The cloister bell. I was just making sure you knew what it was.
I see.
I was testing your knowledge.
Very good.
That's what I was doing. The cloister bell. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this season has been more referential than last season was. Maybe not. I feel like there's been a lot of, I feel like maybe, it might just be because it's fresh, but I feel like there's a lot of callbacks and stuff. But
I'll keep a list.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Cool.
I'll go rewatch all of season 8.
No, that's okay. I don't think that's quite necessary.
I have nothing to do this weekend. I'm going to go antiquing and then I'm done.
Ooh, antiquing. Nice. Cool.
Yes.
Okay, so before we get off completely on antiquing, get off topic on antiquing, not get off, or either one. Anyways, anyone else have any other thoughts on this week? Thoughts on this episode? Stuff, predictions and stuff for next week. What else?
I'm interested how we get from where we are to Ghost Doctor.
Wibbly wobbly woo. The
Yeah, that's
doctor
actually
tripped
what I was
on
gonna
his
say.
shoe.
Well, in the end
clock
credits,
struck
we
one,
see him like.
Wait, were you gonna say something?
I'm just gonna let you two do your thing.
No, we're good. We're done.
It's out of our system.
You sure?
Yep, that's our
Good.
system. We're good.
Okay. I don't know. I can't remember what in the preview they showed because I've actually seen like the preview for the episode now, so I don't know like at what point we're theoretically supposed to be in time right now with the podcast.
Oh yeah. We haven't seen the. I don't think we saw the preview actually, so we don't know.
I'm really interested for next week because
Me too.
almost like the monster in God Complex. I feel like this next monster he looks like scary as poop, and
nice.
I think it'll be like that same really nice quality because that even just like the simplicity of the Minotaur, it was so like freaky.
Yo, Minotaur was sweet. Yeah, I like Minotaur.
So I have a feeling this is going to do that same kind of suspense running through.
Interesting. Cool. Sweet.
I do think it's funny that Willie already broke our like PG-13 rating with his swearing, and you said scary as poop.
I might have also mentioned
I'm
some.
Pretty sure we're not rated PG-13 on iTunes.
No. But I mean, if like this episode was very quickly not PG-13.
No, that's okay.
The PG-14?
Yeah,
Give
I
them a
think
year,
so.
experiment a little bit, and come back.
Cool, but anything else? Any other? No.
Good.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone. We'll make sure to be up. Yeah, so we'll actually have 2 episodes up relatively closer to each other than normal. And yeah.
Hopefully nobody dies.
Yeah, hopefully no one dies or anything happens. Well, people in the show can die. That's fine. But hopefully
none of us die.
Yeah, hopefully none of us die, and we'll be back on our regular schedule.
Well, I'll just be sitting in bed reading Doctor Who stories. So
That's
I mean,
true.
that's nothing's happening to me.
Cool. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Have a good week. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Adios.